Hey everyone, Mature Simmer here. So back here on Farmers Only Club, trying to find some work. Unfortunately, there's nothing for players available, which would be understandable, I think. So, gonna go ahead and decided to try to pick up a contract here. I think I need to... Oh, that's right. We can go over here and grab material. I'm not sure if this is a one-size-fits-all. I think I came over here for fertilizer last time. I guess we'll find out. Looks like it does take some seed. So I am heading to field 37. There we go. It is down here. So, given that I'm pretty familiar with this map from FSN, I have a pretty good idea how to get there. So, we'll head on down. Whoops. So, if you're new to this series, I am starting out here on Farmers Only Club and doing what everybody does if you join this community and are trying to work through things. And I'm just trying to make some money. In the first 18 days, you don't have any option to own your own farm, but that's perfectly fine because I don't really have a lot of money. So I've run, I think, technically 3 or 4 player contracts. I guess it would be 3. So I've done 2 for one farmer, and basically it was working for them once, kind of before I decided full on that this was going to become what I was doing going forward, and moving on from FSN. And then I had to finish some of the work we were doing there on a sunflower harvest. And then last episode, I did some plowing and some olive fertilizing for another contractor, and that one netted me $30,000. So in total, we've got, whoa, got a little bit of lag here. This is honestly the first time I've seen anything happen on these servers. So I kind of was used to on the FSN side with the Nitrato servers that as the map redrew in the beginning and so forth, it was always a problem. And maybe because I'm driving around more, that's what's happening here. My understanding from talking with folks here is they kind of rent their own servers from a provider and manage them themselves instead of going through Nitrato. So that tends to create a better performance situation, but struggling a bit now, that's for sure. So, but anyway, I got my balance up to $68,000. Which is really not that much, especially, you know, given that if I'm going to buy some land and stuff, I'm going to need quite a bit. But I also went ahead after asking, you know, hey, how do I find work? How do I let people know I'm available to be a farmhand and so forth? So FOC has got a player advertisement channel in Discord. And you're able to post there, but there is a cost because it's an advertisement. So it costs $2,000. So my balance is now down. Let me just make sure this is where I want to go. Wait, where am I? Hold on. I'm confused. Where am I? Because the store's up here. Oh, I see. I'm here. So I don't see. I thought I knew where I was going. I need to go back up here and go to the road. All right. So I'm down to 66,000, but I posted an advertisement out there this morning, just letting people know, hey, I'm new, and contact me if you got stuff I can do for you, because that's the only way in any community. You know, if I decided to move to Iowa in my real life and said, hey, I want to help out some farms, like, the only way people are going to know I'm in town is if I start letting people know I'm in town. So it's kind of how I'm looking at it. So even though it cost me a little bit of my hard-earned money, hopefully it'll be an investment worth making. I definitely have the one person that I worked for with the olives and so forth. Yeah, this is not what I experienced on this server before, so it's interesting, and maybe it's with the rain or whatever, and maybe the contract server is a little less beefy than some of the other servers, because I mean, I only did the $1,000 contract the one time when I was doing the first dive into this community at all, to just experience kind of how it works. But I definitely would rather work for players, just because A, there tends to be more work as far as, like, you know, it's not just show up and you know, fertilize a field like I was doing in the one case where I ran up and down the field 4 times and I was done, and I got paid $1,000 on the contract server here. But you know, obviously with a smaller community there's less opportunity, but you know, in reality it could be challenging to find contracts in FSN too, because folks weren't always looking for help. A lot of people were fine just doing their stuff. But since I'm on this morning and I had time, I'm like, well, even though I'd prefer to do something else, I can only do what's available. Alright. Yeah, this is a lot less less fun than it was the other time, because this lag is like not going away. I don't understand why. Let me get to the field and we'll go from there. So I am here. Move this over a bit more. And we should be planting. There we go. So this is the field. It looks like there's somebody over there. A purple farm that's doing its thing. But yeah, I'm not sure if they're plowing or what they were doing. Alright, so within the game in the contract it told me I need canola, so for it to work properly I think I need to be doing that. Initially I was like, well, the website didn't say anything, so I'll just leave it on wheat, but I don't think that's going to get me any progress, so just switched over. Obviously we'll see. Yeah, there we go. We got 1%. You can kind of see it now in the trees now that I moved it. So it's an interesting way that this works for sure, because it's, you know, I don't know if that's a unique mod to FOC or, you know, how that works where it's showing us that detail, but that's not something I'm used to seeing in Farming Simulator. You know, the big question is going to be, am I going to be able to get everything done without refilling the seeder? I think the answer is going to be no. But the contract payment on this is decent. It's going to be, I think, $6,400 or something. So, you know, I'll have paid for my advertisement and then some, which is always good. And, you know, in the interim, what I'm hoping is that someone reaches out to me, and that by the time I'm done with this, I can go do some additional work. So I am going to go ahead, because I think I've given you a couple episodes of just no break and following along, because this may turn into just a lot of contracts. So I'll see what I do. You know, likely I'll probably step away and wait for someone to contact me. The challenge I've got today, however, is I've really got this short window this morning to do some stuff. So I was really hoping to make some progress in my life here in FOC, and I won't have much time later on. So this ends up kind of being a tough day to do anything unless I can get something pretty quickly. So it's one of the reasons I decided to do what I was doing. But I'm going to keep going ahead and sewing this. Shouldn't take too terribly long. I'm already at 4%. Probably going to be at 5% pretty quickly. But I will come back and we'll see what's happening then. So I'll see you in a bit.
Like a diamond can't stop me from shining bright. People stop and stare when I am in the sight. I look expensive, yeah, they all want this life. So here I am, look everyone, watch out for me, I'll be the one you want. I'll blow your mind, take you away. You know that there is no way I will change. Oh, everybody looks at me wherever I go. They all know that I love the attention and I'm taking control. Watch out for me now, you know I'm ready now. I'm hot as fire, take things higher, yeah, I shut it down.
Alright, so, you know, at 5 times speed that this server runs, obviously things move along a little bit. There's a few more contracts here and there that I could do, but they're all pretty small, just like what I did. So, kind of looking for something different. So the good news is, as I've been going along, I have been getting a few nibbles on my advertisement. So I've chatted with a couple folks and may turn into something with one or both of them. We'll see how it works. I try to balance a couple people at least when I've done stuff like that in the past. I've been able to do that because then at least I've always got something to do on given days. And usually there's not a ton of things, but the challenge and what I'm going to have to figure out here is some people have just mega operations, so you know, I'll have to see. But it sounds like one of the folks is pretty casual and not looking to do anything crazy, so I might have time for a couple, but I don't know that I'd be able to do 3 or 4 like I've done at times before. So as I wrap up this episode, what that really turns into is, you know, how long do I stay a contractor? Because being a farmhand, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to run my own farm. It's not like it's that vastly different other than I'm making some choices. So, you know, to run my own farm. But if I've got consistent work and I'm just helping out somebody, I'm still getting, you know, the playtime and simming away and having a good time helping things work. So I may hang out as a farmhand for a while. It just really depends on how things work. So just so we all have clarity of how the community, how FOC works, you need the 18 days I talked about to even consider FM. So I'm still over 2 weeks away anyway before I even would have an option, which is going to be a whole, you know, game. It's a game year and a half, basically, obviously 18 days. So in the grand scheme of things, not huge, but certainly it's going to allow me to go through harvest cycle and you know, the full cycle with everybody. And you also need $250,000. With the contracts I've done here, A little over, I think I just cracked 75,000 now, so I'm getting there, and at this point I'm not concerned at all that I'll be able to hit there. But once again, you're at 250, they will then match dollar for dollar whatever you've got up to 375,000. So at that point, if I decided to pull the trigger with 250,000, I just have 500,000 to start, which might not even be a good thing of land. So as opposed to FSN having a limit of 500,000, the limit here is a little higher. You can go up to 600,000, and the nice thing too is it doesn't have to be one plot of land. You're able to do 1 to 5 plots of land that total up to 600,000, or it sounds like they give you another option of a little bit bigger plots where you could do 1 to 2 pieces that total no more than 750,000, but that seems to be the maximum you can do without doing any kind of getting into the sponsorship thing again. But I'm not even sure you can do the sponsorship thing without starting out as an FM somewhere, because it sounds like even on a server that doesn't have a sponsor, you need to kind of be the longest person at some rate. So I think maybe you have to like start giving donations or whatever it is for a period of time, and then maybe you're allowed to become the server commissioner. Not sure. And again, not sure if that's what I want to do or not. So, so that's what I've got wrestling around. But you know, it wouldn't be unlikely that I'd like to have a few $1 million before I pull the trigger, so that I can set myself up pretty well to begin with, as opposed to slogging along. So I'm not sure. Certainly drop some comments down there if you're thinking one way or the other. I know I've got some folks that followed me in FSN, and we've been kind of chatting about me moving out and what's going on here. And, you know, some of the comments I've been getting is, oh, this might be, you know, with a harder economy, this might be more like a survival series type thing. So that could be fun, but obviously that would mean I'd need to get on as an FM pretty early and really kind of struggle that way. But the reality ends up being like I probably realistically would then just keep being a farmhand and earning money and then not doing much on my farm until I could do certain things, because I'm just not a big one for loans and having that hanging over my head and so forth. So I don't know. So we will see how things play out, but certainly right now, just even the discussions I've been having, it sounds like two very different operations, two very different kind of folks for play style and so forth, and so some of that may factor in. The other thing that's cool here that I'm finding is they're definitely offering different rates of pay. So you know, but then there's the flip side of, do I maybe take the farmer that's a little more casual but maybe has more consistent work and pays less? You know, just like any employer-employee relationship, sometimes just that dynamic is more important. You know, enjoying working for someone and enjoying what you're doing, because I know there's some logging maps on here too, and I think one of the folks that had actually posted that they were looking for a farmhand in the adverts Discord. I have reached out to them. They have not been one of the two that I've heard from yet, but I think they might be doing a logging operation, so I don't know. And I'm not a big fan of that work, so I'm not good at it, which is why I'm not a huge fan of it. But it's not one that I'm dying to get good at either. So anyway, it's a pretty long wrap up, but that is what I've got for today. I may get on later tonight, see what's going on, we'll see what happens, but I will see you next time.